I think we're on Twitch now, YouTube, Twitter, some Russian site that absolutely loves what I put out. They don't understand it, but they're like, das ist gut. So, you do what you gotta do. All right, anyway, we got in the studio Hodges and Tanner and what the heck's your last? What? Shake, what is it? Huh? Say it again. Angie Valley. That's right.
Angie Valley.
Angie Valley. Any relation to Frankie? Same last name. What are you trying to pull? What are you doing?
Why are you echoing?
I know.
I know I'm echoing.
Out here.
Somebody's got their audio on.
Somebody gotta hit mute.
Yeah, make sure it's not my camera.
Oh, I think it is your camera.
I think it is. Just push that microphone. If you see it, that's it.
Oh.
Shut it off. Da. Is it
It
going?
is off.
What do you mean it is off? Then it's got to be another camera or
it might be.
microphone. I don't know. It's not that, but that's okay. It's got to help. Very well.
That helped. If you turn the volume down, how you gonna hear it?
You don't have to hear that. You hear it in your phones.
Oh, okay.
Everything comes with my board. That's just the video part, okay? Anyway, hey, we're here. We do what we got to
You
do.
look like ants.
You look like ants, yeah, because now he's got it way up there.
Tilt it down a little.
If you can.
Down.
Down.
I gotta show
Come on.
all of this.
Yeah.
All
You
of
wanna
this.
get it
There
all
you go.
up in there.
Yeah.
I think that'll work. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is my mic good?
You gotta turn your thing on.
Is my mic good?
Are we all set?
Can you hear me
Mic
well?
check. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, I just didn't have you guys on. I want to hear your
Testing,
crowd.
testing,
Really, just ignoring.
Perfect. The volume.
All right, let's see what we can do here. All right. 1, 2,
Perfect.
Testing.
brothers.
Let's do it. Testing. Perfect. Good.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Shake.
Boom. Okay. All right, we're ready to shake our booties on the radio, so stand by. All right, let's get this working. No, yes, no, bye-bye. All right. All rise. Sorry, I'm
All rise.
All rise. Okay. All right, anyway, this is the show. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh no, must be time for LPT Realty's Real Estate All-Stars Radio. Today, we've got Matt Hodge, we got Roger Hodge, we got Patricia Tanner and Angie Valley. Matter of fact, I'm going to hand it over to the Hodges and let them handle this.
Oh, yes. Is that what's happening today? Okay. I like how you snuck that in there last minute.
Like you didn't know.
Oh, yeah. I know how that works. Well, I'm excited to be here today. A lot of big headlines came out over the last week or so. And, of course, we follow them all and like to make sure that we are educating kind of the consumer base of what's happening out there in the world of real estate. So we had the stress test last week on the banking system, on the regional banks, which was pretty telling because there were a few that were indeed under stress, and one did really well. But overall, what we saw that the Fed was looking for was to see if there was going to be a reaction from kind of what the consumer behavior was going to be. Was there going to be another run on the banks where people are going to go out there and pull their money out and put it inside Chase or kind of these bigger banks? And that didn't happen. So that's a positive thing there.
Mm-hmm.
However, it does also mean that they'll probably continue to be pretty aggressive with interest rates and look at that, right? Because if there was a bigger stress there, we might have seen a little bit of reprieve on those recent highs on the interest rate. So that didn't happen. But we did also then, the headlines kind of came out around there being a different credit score rating.
Yep.
And a lot of people are pretty outraged about it. Of course, the headlines on the media are going to, make it as outraging as possible.
Yeah.
So you have to go in there
They're gonna
and kind of like figure it out. But so we'll talk through today what is really happening there. It's not really what the headlines say. There's a portion of it. There's some truth to it. But I guess the big overarching theme, which is like, hey, people with lower credit are getting this bump up and people with better credit are getting, a bump down. They're going to pay more. And they're doing it to help the people with the lower credit. And that's kind of how the claim came out.
Narrative, yeah.
Tax the rich and let
right.
the poor be poor. And
Exactly.
the rich get rich.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So So it's not quite that. So we'll walk you through the details of that today. But let me go around the room real quick and see how are you doing today?
I'm doing
Yeah,
well.
you're
Thank
doing
you.
good?
Yeah. My
Okay.
name is Patricia Tanner.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm with LPT Realty.
Okay.
Yes, just in case you didn't
There
know.
you go.
And you're rocking all white with the
I
all
am, yes.
white headphones
yes,
and everything?
Exactly. yes. I have a team. I just started.
Okay.
I just got approved for my team. It's called the Real Team.
All
Everybody know me
right.
as the
Okay.
Money Train. So I was a real estate broker, passed my license down to you guys, and now I'm with LPT. So I'm so excited. I love to let everybody know to let LPT do all the work.
Perfect.
Less
Yeah.
risk, less liability.
Yeah,
Right,
So,
yeah.
Yep.
Put it on them, or
Yep.
technically me, and let you do your thing. All right, Angie, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Fantastic. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
And my brother Roger Hodge, how are
Hey.
you doing, brother?
I'm not bad, man.
Good.
How
Good.
Are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing
Good.
great. I'm happy to be here 2 weeks in a row.
I
Haven't had an
know.
opportunity to do that in some time. Our travel schedule has been pretty difficult, but making some time to get back in here and do some of the parts that we love. But let's dive into this this credit kind of headline. People with better credit get worse rates, and people with lower credit are now receiving this benefit from the more responsible people. Like
Yeah.
we're shifting it down, and that's what the headlines say. And there's a portion of it that's actually somewhat true. There is a group of people with lower credit scores who are now more financeable than what they were before.
Correct.
And there was a group of people who used to be tier one credit who technically do have a worse rate.
Yeah.
But if you stop there and don't dig into it a little bit further, it sounds like pretty bad.
Very scary.
And so just so if you're unfamiliar, there was basically 7 credit tiers before.
Mhm.
Tier 1 credit, obviously being 740 plus, that's your highest credit,
Yeah.
and then 7 being the lowest, right? The hardest to finance, usually unfinanceable.
You're right.
And so what they've done is over the last couple of years, the national average credit is now like 716. And it's because they've been able to include things in the past, or include things into your credit score now that weren't available in the past. So things like, your rent payments, things like that have continued to bump up the national average. And so really what happens here is that they're saying, hey, someone at so the national average at 716 used to be like at 680. And so they're saying, hey, this person at 740 really doesn't represent the top of the market anymore. It's
Right.
really not. That person actually is more risky than what tier 1 credit used to be, because everyone's got this bump up, right? You got Experian Boost, you got all these little things that artificially kind of pump your credit score up. And so there has been pressure to look at different ratings other than, the national kind of the
Right.
3 portals. There's been talks about saying, hey, we need to find a different credit rating, a different credit source to evaluate people. And so that is kind of been what's been happening.
Yeah.
But also, in addition to that, you've had people who had a 740 FICO
Credit.
score,
Yeah.
lumped in with someone who has an 810, 820. It was just 740 plus.
Right.
And so what we've done, or what has been done, is they've created categories to break that group up. So now tier 1 credit starts at 780 plus, whereas before that would have just been, 740 and above.
And above. Yeah.
But the people who got hurt now are the people who had the 740, between that 740 and 759, because now you are tier 3 credit.
right.
And so where the statement becomes true that everyone is tacking on the headlines is that, yes, someone who was at tier 1 credit is now at tier 3, and that does come at a higher interest rate, a higher premium.
Correct.
And then there is also, on the other side of that, people who were previously unfinanceable, now financeable.
Become financeable.
So that is
So
really
don't
what's
put
happening.
your college kid on your credit card right
No,
now.
definitely don't do that.
Okay, that's basically what you're saying.
That's pretty much what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying. Yeah. Protect that credit. So if you've got above a
Protect it.
780, you actually get a slightly better, a 0.25 better rate than you would have before, even at the
Correct.
740 plus. So it does actually help out the very, very top. Does include some people down who had the lower credit scores. And there's that small sliver of people that are between 740 and 759 that
Correct.
do
And
have a
it's just
0.25.
that window.
Just that
And
small
you had
window.
mentioned earlier, the rich steal from the rich, give to the poor,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Yes.
Rich
Like
get
that
poor down.
Robin Hood
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
mentality, right? But
Mhm.
when we look at it from a macro, because the headlines do hyper focus on the one worst negative thing that you can
course.
pull out from it.
Yes.
But if, again, you pull it out and you look at the grand picture, while yes, that tier was tier 1, that is now between 740 and 759, they are now tier 3. So yes, they do get that bump up, but now we have 2 additional layers or 2 additional tiers to get those better rates.
Correct.
So if you kind of pull back, because all we have to do in real estate is adjust to the information that's
Yeah.
given to us, right?
Correct.
So if you are within that window of 740 to 759, then now be the 760 to, that higher tier up to the 780. And I'm not saying it's going to be an overnight thing, but just make some slight adjustments so that you can get out of that now tier 3 that
Yeah.
was tier 1.
So in other words, become an authorized user on somebody's credit card with good credit.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
Get the bump up.
Yes.
Get the
Get
bump
that
up.
I locked my credit card though, so
Oh gosh. I'll just go on the mat as an authorized user so I can qualify for a house just for 30 days.
Yeah.
man.
That's
I'll
it.
just-
Well, I heard you say before the show started, you just closed on an investment property.
I did.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, thank you so
Yeah.
much. So I am, for those of you that don't know me out here, I build houses from the ground up.
Okay.
So back in 2016, I was the very first person in Sanford, Florida to build an investment property from the ground up.
Wow.
So I broke the price point. So that's
Nice.
why all the developers start running into Sanford, start buying all the celery fields, orange groves, and start building. And then I also invest. So I buy homes that are in foreclosure, and I also help people that are in foreclosure to get out of foreclosure. I just did a reel on Instagram yesterday where the family lost their home due to foreclosure, but I gave that family $30,000 to walk
Wow.
away. So, I know people say, that's crazy. Why are you giving so much money to people? But when they lose their home, they have nothing else.
Yeah.
So $30,000 is a good start, don't you guys think?
Absolutely.
I'm with that.
That's that money
Got
train.
that train.
The money train.
Sugar mama, that's what I'm saying.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, but that's great. Yeah, and there's it's a lot of similarities because Roger actually has a master's in real estate development, and so
wow.
would
Nice.
bring homes from vacant lots, entitlement, all the way to COs. And
Yeah.
so 1 minute, okay, perfect. We got 1 minute before we got to take a
Oh,
break.
God.
1 minute. That's it.
That was
We're getting the
quick.
warning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of similarities there, and so we did a lot of things like that as well too. Building custom homes and helping people find their dream home that is not
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm gonna go contact this builder. Like, we do everything. So I'd love to pick your brain a little further
Yeah,
about that.
please,
But
yes.
yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do is when we come back on the other side of this break, we are going to find out, are there any other things in the market that people are saying that simply aren't true? And we know the media is going to say some things to get some headlines, and it's a business, right? They're going to do that to make people interested.
Yeah.
But is there real truth? So we're going to figure those things out when we come back from the other side of this break.
You're listening to Real Estate All Stars Radio on News Radio, WFLA, Orlando.
All right, awesome.
That was really great.
Yeah. You know what I really want to
Can
talk
you guys
about
hear
is
me
that,
on here?
Yep.
Hometown
Okay.
Heroes program. You guys heard about that
Yeah, the
program?
Yeah,
new,
the new one.
717 million
Yeah.
that DeSantis
but
cleared. Yeah.
but it's going to go to everyone now.
hmm
Did
That's
you-
what the
and-
700.
So there, yes,
As of
out
July
of
1st.
all of it,
As of
and there's
July
a certain
1st.
pocket that's for like, I think it's like 100 million or something like
Yeah,
that.
yep. And it went up
Uh,
to 35,000 in
he-
closing
yep.
costs. And yep.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't know about that yet.
Mhm.
And then July 1st, they're going to roll it out. It's going to be offered to everyone.
Ooh,
Everyone.
look at
Okay.
you on the social media getting a down skinny on the
What?
low
I
low.
know.
Woo-hoo,
Down
someone
skinny on the
spilled
low
it.
low.
Hey,
My lender
wow.
called me yesterday and said, Patricia, because I got a VA person right now under contract for the
With that
with
program.
that program, and she loves that program to death. And she was telling me about it. I was like, "What? Everybody can get their closing costs paid and down payment?
Mhm.
That's
As of July 1st?
yes, girl.
Okay.
Mm.
Closing costs and down
She
payment.
said,
Okay.
yeah,
So
girl.
like,
was like,
get,
"Yeah,
get your
girl."
candy out of the
You need
damn
to-
cookie
you need
jar
to
or
see
whatever the
this
hell where it's under the
Get your hand out
mattress.
of the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Dig up the mason
going.
jars in the yard.
I know.
All right, y'all ready to get another segment under our
Yes.
Yes,
belt?
let's
Yeah.
do it.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, stand by. Here we go. What do I got? Who's talking?
Oh, that was me.
Was
Hello?
that you?
No.
All right, just checking. It's all good. It's all good. Welcome back to Real Estate All Stars Radio, powered by LPT Realty, and they are powered by RP Funding. In the studio today, we got the big boys, Matt Hodge, Roger Hodge, oh, and the big girls too, Patricia Tanner and Angie Valley. I think it's time for Matt to take over before I put my foot in it.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna
Like how she
say.
always brings us in and then
Take
just,
it.
then just
Take the
turns it
wheel.
over. Yeah, perfect. So right before the break, we kind of talked about, what are some of the other things out there in the market that people are hearing. And so, Patricia, you brought up the Hometown Heroes, and that was a benefit specifically for a group And then now you're talking about that benefit being expanded. So can you walk us through what that
I'm
sounds
not
like?
a lender. I don't know.
I mean, you brought it up.
Exactly.
Over
Okay, all right.
Exactly
So
what you
this
just
is
said.
okay. I heard from a lender that effective July 1st,
Okay.
2023,
Mhm.
the Hometown Heroes program will be opened up to everyone.
Okay.
So not only to the service organization that they presented to everyone,
Mhm.
but it's going to open up to every single person. So everyone that's looking to buy a home no longer has to pay a down payment or closing costs because they're going to offer at least $35,000 to go towards that. So there's
Gotcha.
no excuses now for
Beautiful.
buyers
So
not to
pretty
buy.
much, pretty much at this point, when this year started, we heard PMI has now reduced.
Mhm.
Interest rate, not interest rate, the credit structure is now changed. And we're now getting access to funds to help with closing costs. So you're pretty much saying that we're in an environment where things are becoming a little bit more affordable or
Mhm.
attainable
Mhm.
now.
I think
It's,
so.
and
It's helping
I,
the consumer.
and I actually like the direction that we are heading because to kind of piggyback on what Matt was saying, some of the scary words that are out there is
Yeah.
we're heading for a crash,
Yes.
right? Or I'm going to be upside down if I try to invest in this
Fear, fear, fear.
overinflated market.
Correct.
And the realities behind it is that when we start looking at some of the data, which all of us here in this room, we look at the data, we understand what we're looking at, and the growth is here. Now, we can't speak for other states because we know we, as Florida, are receiving a lot of people
Yeah.
from these other states,
Yes.
right? So maybe some other states are seeing a decline of some percentage. But here in the state of Florida, there's actual positive growth, both in home value as well as demand. And so while interest rates, yes, have gone up to help soften the blow of the heavy bidding wars that we saw over the last 2 years, we're actually in an environment where sellers are accepting concessions and they're more
Yeah.
able to, or they're more willing to negotiate with some of these buyers. And then now we have all of these other programs between lower PMI and a credit score rating, making those who weren't able to attain a loan can now get a loan, and the Hometown Hero program expanding. There are just things that are happening in our market that is so positive for every buyer and seller out
Yeah.
there. Because another concern is, where will I move to if I sell my home?
Correct.
Now that we are creating opportunities so that we can no longer feel jailed
Yeah.
by these lower interest rates that we refinanced into, and start actually moving when we need to. Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, there's a loss in the family, you have a blessing of a baby, whatever those scenarios are, it is now more comfortable to make those transitions.
And that is why they need to call these LPT agents,
Right.
Get
Get yourself a
because we
knowledgeable
have the
agent.
negotiation skills
Yes.
to speak to these sellers to let them know that, hey, you're helping out a buyer that's going to get a home that they couldn't afford it,
We
help.
didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can also help increase the cost and value of their homes
Yeah.
by raising the price,
Yep.
and then they can cover the cover costs in the end,
Cover-
the closing,
yep.
the closing
Exactly.
costs in the end, right? I mean, at least that's my trick.
So yeah. All right. So we are not here to say whether things are right or wrong, right? We are
Correct.
only interpreting what is happening, right? And,
Correct.
and how to utilize that towards your benefit. And I know there's some people who say, hey, I don't think that's a positive, right? There's some people who say, hey, that's a positive because it helps me. You're going to have people who are on both sides.
Yeah.
But again, we are just simply looking at it and saying, hey, look, the reality is we don't have control over that. All we can do is speak to our, sellers and our buyers and let them know what programs are available. And so I just looked at it. You're right. It is coming in July 1st.
Yes.
And it is
You made
extended
the
to
same
all.
mistake I did. You said January,
I know.
July.
Yeah. you
Way
muscle
sooner
memory
than
into
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So July 1st is when we expect to see that. It's programs available to all working Floridians until the funds run out.
Wow.
So
First come, first serve.
It's
We're gonna
be-
get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you don't agree with it,
Get on
Yeah,
it.
you
get on
better
that
get on it
advantage of
because
it.
it's going
Better get on
away.
that train.
That's right. But yeah, so I think it's important to kind of discuss because you're right. If you are someone who has been on the sidelines, you've been someone
Yeah.
who's like, hey, listen, I am responsible. I am, been trying to get out of
Yes.
renting, and that's continued to go up. I don't have the ability to
Yeah,
outmatch the
don't
market
save
because
money.
over the last
Mhm.
2 years, the market has grown extremely quickly,
Mhm.
and I can't keep up.
Yeah,
And so
I
maybe
can't pay $8 for eggs.
So my sister, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna take a left turn here.
Oh, okay.
But my sister and her husband, they moved to Georgia probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, our sister, I should say. I'm sorry. But our sister moved to Georgia about a year ago, and she has not. She's always been like a city girl. Lived in like St. Pete. Lived in D.C. Not a big nature person at all.
Yes.
Well, her husband's exact
God.
opposite. Total like
Lord, I know where
outside,
this
loves
is
to go
going.
primitive camping.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so on this property now they got 3 acres, and so they have chickens now.
Oh,
And
wow.
so while the rest of us are
Struggling.
they're struggling,
Yeah.
right, paying these higher
Yes.
prices. She's always showing us these new eggs that she's getting. And
Oh,
so it was
Lord.
like, I started thinking about it. I'm like, should I get
Yeah,
some
get some
chickens?
Get some
chickens.
chickens.
The crazy thing is, Orange County just passed that you can now have
Chickens in the
hens.
yard.
Hens
What?
in your
Oh,
yard.
hens.
What?
They do have to be permitted. They cannot be
Uh-huh.
roosters.
Wow.
I think there's going to be a limited
Only hens.
amount of permits and a limited amount of hens that you can actually have.
Oh.
And your yard must be fenced.
Get ready. I'm
But-
coming for those
Or-
hens.
Listen, she wants those eggs right now. What county was that
Look,
again?
Orange County.
Orange
I'm in
County.
Seminole County. That
Awesome.
doesn't help me. But
No,
you are
not
in
yet.
Orange County. But
I
if
am
you
in
hear
Orange
what we're
County.
saying, July 1st, you better make a run
Yes.
for the home and also get your permit
And
for
the
your chickens.
chickens.
Oh, God, that's
geez.
funny.
Okay. All right. So I don't even remember what we were talking about, but either way.
Well,
Back-
let's say this. I can say the Hometown Heroes program, the credit score starts at 640. So that helps. If you're at that 580 mark
Yeah.
and you're trying to move yourself up, again, get under an authorized user that
Yes.
got GERD credit.
Yes.
It's only for 30 days. So I think it will work out for those that are looking, that are struggling, that don't have the down payment assistance and the closing costs. So this is awesome.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is that there are some people who have genuinely just made a ton of bad decisions, right? And that's why their score
Yeah.
reflects what it is. But there are also other people who have hit unfortunate circumstances
Yeah.
in their life that really is outside of their control.
Yeah.
And I'm not lumping them all into the same thing, but it is a reality, right?
Yeah.
Some people do have things that happen to them that cause them to default on bills, whether it's medical bills or
Yeah.
passing of a family
Employment.
member or
Mhm.
employment, something
Yeah.
like that. There
Yeah.
can be things that you've made the right decisions and bad things still happen. And so this is not an excuse for that. But, so it does help that group of people. It also can incentivize a group of people who haven't made the best decisions to have some additional benefit. And I think that's where people probably feel a little upset. But how can you help one without the other, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's the downside
The-
of helping
Yeah.
the person
double edge.
the double edge,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's a double edged sword. And so again, we're not here to talk about whether that's right or wrong. We just want to let you know that those benefits exist. So
Yes.
if you are in that scenario, you're thinking about purchasing a home or some chickens, let me roll around here and just get everyone contacts information.
I just
so
want the eggs.
you just
That's
want
all.
the
I
eggs,
don't
right?
want
You
to
want some
pay
discounted
$8.
All right, 1 minute. Okay, so let's
Okay.
go, Patricia. If we wanted to reach out to you, how would we reach out to you?
Okay, Patricia Tanner. I'm on social media at Patricia Tanner, and you can reach me at 407-221-2522.
All right, this is Angie Valley with the Buckley Group. You can follow me on social media at Angie the Sunshine State Realtor, and my cell is 407-233-9573.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is Roger Hodge with M. Hodge Group. And best phone number for us is 407-268-0046.
Or you can reach us at mhodgegroup.com.
There you go.
You forgot about that one.
Yeah, I did.
Did
the
they-
brothers.
Did
Got
they
the
call you
brothers.
guys an Oreo cookie in the day?
They should.
Chocolate and vanilla.
There you
Like,
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Real Estate All Star Radio.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, you threw them off.
you did.
It's true. It's true. All right, when we return,
The Oreo
hopefully
brothers.
everybody will not talk at once, so you can get every laugh that they're putting out there. I'm just gonna say that, okay? This is LPT Realty Show. We call it the Real Estate All Stars Radio.
For real, seriously. Did they ever call you like Oreo? Like,
Oreos and
yeah.
chickens.
Well, it's
All
my
right.
mom is from Thailand. And my dad is African American.
Oh,
So my
wow.
brother is straight Chinese. I'm talking about, you look at him, he looks like a complete Chinese man.
You
And then
should
you
see
look
our
at me
nieces.
and you're like, what the hell? Like, are you related to him? I'm like, yeah. And they always, you speak English? Or boy, my brother. And then when he opened his mouth, because we were raised in, African American community, and he talks just like an African American. American. Like,
Yep.
yeah. And they're like, oh my God.
This is crazy.
Yeah, can you say that word again? Because you look funny saying it.
Yeah. How's the skin issues? Huh?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I got a friend who is Chinese and Jamaican.
Oh.
Mom was Chinese. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So he's like light skinned, but he got whatever the hell it's
Mine
called.
is vanilla. I don't even know what to call. He's probably white as she is right here. Yeah, he is. Yeah. And his eyes are slanted. I'm talking about the whole eyelids, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, I told my mom. I said, "Yeah, you had to cheat on Dad. Like, hey, you
There's
did
no
that.
way.
That is not yo baby daddy right there."
We gonna raise him like his own. We
Yeah.
his.
But the
Hit
difference
next.
with you guys, they look alike, don't they?
What are we gonna hit next?
All right. Well, we're on segment 3, so we should hit something like what's going on out
What's
there,
up, Angie?
what
said
you
you wanna
got
talk
up.
about some stuff.
Got some pipeline,
builders?
something down the
Yes.
chute.
Oh yeah.
Chat GTP. She
Chat
loves that
Oh,
Chat
yeah.
GTP.
I mean,
You guys
I'm
better
just
be
learning
careful
about
with
it.
that Chat GPT.
I know.
Let's do it. I like it. The way you said that.
Yeah, I pay $20 a
careful.
month, and half the time I can't even get in on it.
That's true. Yeah.
That's not happy. I know happy. All right,
Oh.
That's going to replace her.
I'm not happy. All right, here we go. Like always. Oh, this is fun. What do I got? I'm just looking for some music. That's all.
No
Yeah, here we
worries.
go. Here we go.
worries.
Play some Cardi B.
Cardi B. This ain't no music radio.
Oh, well, dang.
Right now, we're talking about real estate. Come on now, Patricia.
Hey,
you know
Cardi B
better.
dance to real estate. And rap to it, too.
Oh Lord.
But can you sell a home to it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, in the studio today, we got the Hodge brothers, Matt and Roger. We got Patricia Tanner, who's telling us so much information.
I am.
And Angie Valley, who's been kind of quiet.
I know. I know.
All right, so let's get things going by handing it over to the Hodge. Matt.
Yeah, we're gonna. So we wanted to talk about Chat GPT. And I'm gonna turn it over to you, Angie. I know you've got some thoughts. What are you thinking? Is it Terminator? Are we taking over the world, or what's happening?
Terminator.
So this is Angie Valley with the Buckley Group here at LPT Realty. Again, 407-233-9573. So I don't know, honestly, whether ChatGPT is good or bad quite right now, but I know that it is definitely here. So we are trying to figure out, I'm hearing a lot about how it can be beneficial in the sense of putting out property descriptions or helping you to get more of a luxury listing. And I believe that ChatGPT has NLP. So it kind of is like you're actually texting a person, not an AI or, a Siri or anything like that. So it's really, really interesting because I think it can be very helpful to a degree. It has a lot of information. And again, anything that you do get out of ChatGPT, you should always double check, proofread, make sure it's accurate, speak with your broker, and go about it that route. But in another sense, it can be a little bit negative because we are having such access to a lot of information and we want to make sure that it's, accurate. So what are your thoughts on that as well, Matt?
I think there's always been advancements that can be looked at as either positive or negative, right?
I'm
And
never
so-
going to buy a TV. You ain't got me to pay that.
Yeah. I mean, the internet was evil, right? People were like, oh, this is going to be, and were there some negative things that have come out from
about it.
internet? Absolutely. But there's also a lot of positives. And so I think that there's always going to be that, I guess, argument on both sides.
Yeah.
I remember when there was a Winn-Dixie. I grew up in Waterford Lakes, and there was a Winn-Dixie, and they were like the first grocery store that adopted the self-checkout. And people were like, this is going to be the start of job replacement. And,
Revolution.
yeah. And they could have been right. But,
Right.
but now, then you look at things like Amazon and that type of fulfillment and,
Yeah.
and the automation that happens there and behind the scenes, it's not necessarily people manually sorting everything. There's a lot of those things that they worked out that are automated. And so what happens is that those jobs shift to something else. Humans start doing something else. Now, in this particular case with ChatGPT, I think one of the most compelling arguments that I've heard is that it makes people stupid because,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Like I can go in there and say, hey, write a description for this real estate property, and it does it faster than I can do it. And so because that happens, I then stop doing that,
Rely
which
on
means
it.
that I lose that skill to a degree,
Yeah.
right? And so that could be the downside. The positive side is that workflow increases, right?
Yeah.
So efficiencies go up. So I don't know. I don't know what side of the
So-
scale you're on, but that's how I kind of see it.
And I have a bit of a perspective as well. So is Roger with M Hodge Group, and I went to a real estate conference. My cohort, there's an annual conference that they do at UCF, and the dean was he was hell bent on this new AI stuff.
Okay.
And someone challenged him and says, just explore it and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And can you imagine at that conference, he says they are going to now try to figure out a way to successfully implement this new AI technology to make learning fun, accessible, easy. And obviously,
Wow.
just like how we're talking now, there's probably a
Right.
lot of misinformation in there
Yeah.
and stuff like that needs to get
We're figuring it
tweaked.
out.
However, UCF is committed right now to making that a
Wow.
long-term learning for all of their students now and for the future.
Okay.
So I do see a lot of benefits. While yes, there is going to be both sides of the aisle saying, "Hey, no, it's negative," or "Oh no, I see a lot of positive." I think the reality is it's here.
Yeah.
It's going to stay. It's going to keep growing. And just like in real estate, we just adapt and move forward.
Yeah.
And like at LPT, part of the reason why we can be so efficient is because we utilize those internal AIs. Like we use designers on the inside that are technically AI technology that allows us to do mass production on those things. Or and if you think about the applications for, like, say, a Chat GPT, you can upload your company documents inside of there, right? And LPT agents, so we have like an internal chat, and you can ask it questions and point it to your documents and say, hey, based on this link, what do I need to know about, I don't know, this contract?
Yeah.
And it can tell you. And so, in a sense, it only could be a human who would have
Right.
to manually explain that. And now
Yes.
it can be something else that does that. It can be this AI bot, this algorithm that can search this information for you and provide
Yeah.
it. So, one, it provides a better experience for the person asking the question.
Yeah.
But two, it increases efficiencies.
Yeah.
So, that's a positive, right?
Yeah.
But what happens if it goes haywire?
Wait,
I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to speak on that because I want everybody to know that Megan is my half sister. She just made a movie, Megan the AI, the doll.
Yeah.
That is my half sister. So I have multiple companies, and so that Chat GTP works very well for me. I can create podcasts, shows in 2.3 seconds.
Yeah.
It writes everything for
Yeah.
me. So when I'm filming my podcast, I know exactly what I want to say, and I can also give it to my guests. And I say, hey, I want my guests to talk about this. It'll type it up in 2.3 seconds, and then I'll feed it to them. So it cuts down time. For me, it's
Right.
been more positive than negative.
Yeah.
But again, Megan is my half sister in one, so I just want to let you
For
know.
some reason, I thought it was Chucky and the.
No!
Wait, what?
You haven't seen the movie Megan?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay.
Boring.
No, it's not.
That was. I figured it out from the first 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
Well,
That's
She's
funny.
coming for you. I just want to let you
you
know.
know,
that.
I just used
She's
Chat
listening.
GPT.
Exactly.
Did you? What you should type in there and ask it what's the most interesting real estate topics. See what it says.
Ooh, there you go.
We'll cover it on the next segment.
Let's
Yeah.
do that. Let's do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See if I can
She
get
doesn't
in.
like
Yeah,
it. She
sure.
doesn't like
No,
it.
I'm all right with it. It's just as I did an interview a couple weeks ago about using AI to find out if students are cheating by
Right.
using
Of course they
AI.
are.
Using
Yep.
our assessment.
Yeah.
Right. So there's algorithms being built that would look like look for common phrases that AI would put together.
Yep.
Yeah. So teachers are like, yes.
Yep.
Don't you feel like the government already has this and they're just rolling it out?
You
to
mean
us?
like
Potentially.
Yeah.
like the cure for HIV/AIDS?
yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. Like the common cure for cold.
Right, that one too. Anyway,
Just an orange juice.
You got about 2 minutes to throw some
Where
stuff
is the
out there.
real estate in this
people.
conversation,
Yes,
everyone?
yeah, we have gone way left all over the
Definitely
place
left
this day. But yeah, so let's talk about some of the people that we're working with. If Roger, if you have anybody buyers that you're working with, let's see if we can connect you with a seller. Maybe someone out there is interested in selling. They don't want to go through the whole process of listing their home. You have anybody they can connect with?
Yes, we actually have a buyer in the Conway area, specific to Conway. They're looking for a minimum 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, decent sized yard. Nothing that's like 2 or 3 acres or anything like that, but maybe about a quarter to half an acre or so. And their budget is in between $5 to $1 million. So if anyone's out there listening in the Conway area, we have a buyer who is ready to go, hyper focused on the Conway area.
Okay, cool. Angie, how about you?
Absolutely. All right, Angie Valley with the Buckley Group here at LPT Realty. So I actually do have a buyer. They're looking anywhere from Mount Dora to Orlando to Lake Mary. They're looking for either a 2-bedroom plus or a 3-bedroom plus, with preferably no HOA on a half acre. Their price range is within $290 to $350. And preferably no tile.
Wow.
I don't want the tile.
No tile. That's new.
Okay, and Patricia, how about you?
I have a brand new construction home that I just completed.
Okay.
It is in
Nice.
Sanford, Florida, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's about 1,200 square feet, and it is for $279.
Okay, fantastic.
yep.
All right. Well, I've got 4 listings that I'm working on right now. I have one out in Holly Hill, Florida, which is right off the Daytona Beach. It's a condo. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's listed at $429. Beautiful views of the ocean. Really fantastic. It's like a resort style community. Really nice. We've got an investment property in Longwood, and that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo. We have got, where's the other two? Oh,
How
another
much
one
is that one in
that one
Longwood?
is $229.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, we just reduced it to 224.
Okay.
We've got one in St. Cloud, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, listed at $529, and it's
Orange.
fantastic. 3-car garage, beautiful. But all right, we'll
Oh,
give
there's
it to the rest of them.
Cardi B.
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
goes. You found it. All right. So sounds like we're about to take a quick break. So we'll be back with Real Estate All Star Radio.
Yeah, trust me, I didn't find it. I had it. I was just
Yeah.
holding out. Real
That's the wrong
estate.
one, though. It's face.
It don't matter. It's clean.
Clean.
We'll be right back. You stay right there. It could get worse.
So you got I have a buyer who's looking, but her price range is $250. I can't really find nothing.
220. It's 224.
But that's a condo.
It's a condo.
Yeah.
$250?
HOA
Yeah.
is 300
Mm.
Yeah.
per month.
Yeah, that
Yep.
won't work.
And then there is the
The
where's
orange.
Oh, that's right. One important orange as well too. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, listed at $424.
Okay.
Forgot about that one.
That's what. See, that's why I'm.
I was trying to say orange. I was like, orange.
Yeah, yeah.
Need
Boy,
it.
orange.
Mm, I heard that. I was like, he's going to ignore you. Alrighty then. Okay.
You got your Bella stuff out, girl.
Mm.
Gonna sell you
What's
some
that?
houses out there.
Go.
Come on, man.
Anything for $250? Hey, at least I'm keeping my prices below $300 when I build. So
All right, here we go. Stand by. It could be fun, like I said. You never know. Welcome back to Real Estate All Stars
God.
Radio.
what is that?
We
Just
hitching
changed
a
the song.
ride. That's it. That's it. Powered by LPT Realty.
I called
We're
the
like
Uber.
pirates with this.
Matt Hodge, Roger Hodge, Angie Valley, Patricia Tanner. I am
I'm in the
Melissa
back seat,
Fox.
yeah.
Yeah, y'all better. Are you hitching a
Looking
ride?
at the window. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Slow down, man. Slow down.
All right, let's see what you can do with that.
Yeah, that was crazy. We ended at Cardi B and came back to that. That was
Pitching right.
That was
That
the
was a-
Vanity
Yeah.
Fair.
that was a real switch. That is diversity.
Amen.
That's top.
Here
Okay,
at
so
LPT.
while we were on the break, I typed into Chat GPT, what are the most interesting real estate topics for a real estate radio show? And the number one is tips for buying a home, discussing the steps involving a home buying and pre-approval and negotiating the offers. So I believe because that was number one suggestion, we're going to take that suggestion and we're going to do it. So
Perfect.
tips for buying a home. We're going to have a contest here. We're going to see who's
Oh,
got the best
God.
tip. And what you can do is you can call in and let me know. We're going to vote and we'll score it for next week. Who has got the best
Look
tip?
at
So
Angie. She got the best.
yeah, I know. She's ready to go.
She's
Okay.
waiting.
Angie, what you got for us?
All right, this is the Angie with the Buckley Group here at LPT Realty. Now, I'm not sure if it's the best tip, but when buying a home,
You started off wrong.
Exactly.
You gotta start.
Wow, you already sold us negative,
Exactly.
man.
Well, listen.
Okay.
So when buying a home, I think that you need to be serious, especially as a buyer. Don't come in, at your bare minimum. Come in with a strong offer because this market is actually picking up. I personally know that I'm working with my buyers and we're in a situation where we're at 11 offers, for a property, 18 offers for a property, cash and above asking price. So that is really, really important because if you really want this home, you need to put your best offer in there and you need to be with a realtor that's actually going to negotiate for you and that is going to inform you on what is going on in the market to benefit you. Another thing is, if you're a seller, I know that we may always want the highest price possible for our properties. However, I think it might be a little bit better if we go a little bit under market value and create kind of like a feeding frenzy, and we end up above asking. Those are some things I think that you as buyers and sellers should look out for.
Well, yeah, that's good. I believe that so we're going to score this. I want you guys to call us in and let us know. But you also gave a seller tip.
Exactly.
That wasn't part of the
It
assignment.
wasn't.
So make
I
sure.
don't understand this.
All right.
She's been eliminated.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm going next. I have the bomb tip to
Okay,
buy a home.
let's hear it.
And that is hire me, Patricia Tanner, LPT. Yes. I am experienced. I have 16 years experience. I will get you the home you want. I will get the lender that's going to get you the money. I am I'm with the best team. Robert Palmer, LPT.
Yeah,
He has
there she
all the
go.
money. So I'll make sure that you get approved for your house. So there you go.
All right. Okay.
Looks like we got a caller here. Hang on a sec. Let's see what they have to
Wow.
say.
All right. Do I answer it? Do I answer it?
No, don't answer.
She's teasing.
Okay. All right. So my buyer tip, Matt Hodge with M Hodge Group. My buyer tip is that you have to be prepared for it. And the reason why that's important is because once you get under contract, once you find that house, even though you've got 30, 45 days to close on it, things start happening really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's very overwhelming. And when people are overwhelmed, they don't make the best decisions. And so what we always like to do is do all the homework up front. Hey, here's the price range of the home that we're looking for. Here's what your estimated payments are going to be. Let's do some light work on what insurance costs are going to be. Let's go into this so prepared so that when you say yes, you know what you're saying yes to. Because if you're still discovering it while after you've said yes, then things can get a little swirly.
Yeah.
And so we are most successful when people are prepared, and we get it. Sometimes people have to move quickly. You're not always,
Yeah.
that can't always, you're not always afforded that luxury.
Yeah.
But if you can be, then you should make every effort to do it. So I'd love to put together a strategic plan for you. Give us a call, 407-268-0046.
Hey, it's not fair.
Now, can I still throw in something?
You can,
in there?
absolutely. We're gonna get 2
it's
votes here.
Roger Hodge, M. Hodge Group. Best number is 407-268-0046. And to piggyback on that is the tools necessary to understand what the buying process looks like. But the biggest takeaway that I like to give my buyers is understanding that financial path. Understanding that financial path and what it means, because everyone is complaining about costs, right?
Yeah.
The cost of eggs. We just talked about it, $8 for eggs. So
Yes.
we need to understand where our dollars are going. How far can we stretch those dollars to stay within what is comfortable for us?
Yeah.
Because there are some buyers out there who's like, hey, I can afford to be in a bidding war and, be that highest person. But then there's that other person who may not have that financial strength
Right.
to do that. And so we need to come up with a plan that works the best for you so that no matter where you are, how financially strong you are or not, we can be able to develop that plan and get you into that home, because it's always better to own than to continue renting.
That's right.
Agreed.
That's right. Yeah, I guess that should be buying tip number 1, stop renting. Stop renting. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week. I've got a friend, longtime friend,
Yeah.
and who's been renting for 7 years, has been caught in this trap of like, hey, man, I can't afford anything that I want. I really like where it's at. We've got a great pool and gym and all this so-and-so. And, now they're, north of $3,000 a month. And I'm like, hey, bro, that's a $450,000
Yeah.
house. You know what I
Easy.
mean? That you could have purchased and built equity in.
Exactly.
And because you want that immediate satisfaction, gratification, whatever you want to,
Slice it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're foregoing that opportunity to be in something that's good for you today.
Yeah.
Right. But
Mhm.
what happens 10 years down the road and you've been renting for 17 years and you have nothing,
To
and that
own.
parallel person has paid off 17 years of their mortgage.
Yeah.
They're going to be in completely different places. And again, you can always sell your house in 2 years, tax-free dollars, don't have to pay capital gains, and use that to keep trading up till you get to a place where you want to be. It's just not always going to happen on your very first home.
On the immediate.
On the
yes.
immediate, yeah. So, but yeah, be prepared. Get with the LPT agent who really understands the path, who can put a strategic plan together. There are a lot of similarities in most transactions,
Yeah.
but their strategic plan is going to be custom to you, right? You may have a bigger down payment in a shorter time frame, or you may have a smaller down payment in a longer time frame. Like we can work with these parables, these parameters. I went to church this weekend.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Yes.
But yeah, you can work with these parameters and and come up with a strategic plan that works best for you. So that's kind of like how I think about real estate and how people should be, thinking who they work with.
Well, I do want to say that I am the queen of the rental properties.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of rental properties out there. So people that are looking, I got one right now in Lake Mary for $2,600. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. a month.
Nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Queen of the
So-
rental properties. Is that self-proclaimed? Did someone else
No,
say that?
that was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
He said,
that.
I'm
all
giving
me.
that my own title. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, today's been a lot of fun. And again, there's so much changing in real estate market. There's so
is.
much to know.
Yeah.
We're out here, trying to give you some light information and make it fun and interesting. But it really is the path for a lot of people for long-term wealth and, generational wealth and
Yeah.
being able to pass this down to your kids and your heirs and things like that. So if you're not currently in real estate, if you don't own it, reach out to us. We'd love to assist you to get started with that. And if you are and looking to do that next move, we'd love to work with you as well too. So real quick,
Yes.
I'm going to go around the room and get everyone's contact information. Patricia, I'll start with you.
Okay, Patricia Tanner. I'm on all social media platforms at Patricia Tanner. And my number is 407-221-2522.
All right, this is Angie Valley with the Buckley Group here at LPT Realty. You can follow me on social media at Angie the Sunshine State Realtor. Phone number is 407-233-9573. If you're looking for anything within the Central Florida area or Daytona, we also have some custom builds, some golf front homes, some lakefront homes, condos, and so much more. Feel free to give me a call.
Fantastic. All
Awesome.
right. I'm looking forward to that. And Roger, how will we reach out to you, buddy?
So we can, or you guys can check us out at mhodgegroup.com and give us a call, 407-268-0046.
Fantastic. Okay, guys. Well, next week we have a group out of Tampa coming over, the Maximum Group. We love them. We're, of course, with LPT Realty. So they're going to be talking about the market that's happening over in Tampa and on the water and kind of
Love
like
that.
that little
Oh,
area that's
awesome.
happening there. So
Yeah.
we'll have
Yes.
a different view next week on kind of what's happening across the state of Florida. And then we have some South Florida guests that are coming as well, too. So looking forward to speaking with you guys and connecting. Thank you for tuning in today for another Real Estate All-Star Radio. And Melissa, I'll turn it over to you.
Have a
Yeah.
great day, guys.
I think I can handle it. All right. You've been listening to Real Estate All Stars Radio on News Radio WFLA Orlando. Guys, it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.
Just one more. Got to be the last one.
All right.
You're so crazy.
That's it.
That's it. You guys have fun?
All right.